It's your boy, Big Homie. Welcome to another day. As promised yesterday, I'm going to be reacting to the pros and cons to owning a diesel vehicle. So you can kind of make up your mind. I'm a diesel vehicle driver myself, so I'll be learning like you guys. But I think mostly it's cap anyway, but you know what? Let's see what the people got to say. Because he's done his research apparently, so let's see.
Seriously though, I actually am. But that's why I think now is a great time to own a diesel vehicle. See, you may look at the scrutiny around compression ignition engines and think it's a bad thing, but I think it's a positive because it proves just how great these engines are. But just like with anything in life, there are a few things you should consider before you make the switch to diesel. For starters, there's still a bit of a stigma around them. Dieselgate's not totally to blame, but the scandal definitely didn't help them catch on in this part of the world. Plenty of folks think of diesels as loud, soot-spewing tractor engines, and all those coal-rolling diesel bros definitely aren't making them look any better. But the reality is that diesels can be pretty quiet, especially new ones like the straight six you can get in the GMC Sierra and Chevy Silverado. There's still a bit of that familiar clatter when you're idling, but it's nothing like it used to be. Something else to consider before buying a diesel is whether the one you're looking at uses diesel exhaust fluid. DEF helps break down the nitrogen oxide emissions produced by diesels, and it's about as easy to top up as your washer fluid. But it's still an added expense and inconvenience to keep in mind. Another thing to think about is whether diesel's going to be available when you need it. Don't get me wrong.
Alright, this is not the right video. We need to find this in UK because I can hear the guy's accent and yeah, he's American. We're trying to let's do the search and type in UK. We need to know about the diesel in UK. Let's see who's gonna be the lucky guy. Let's go for this one.
So, I bought this diesel vehicle in 2025. Am I mad? Well, that's the question I'm going to try to answer in this episode. Hello, it's Marek. Welcome to M-Drives and welcome to another video. And yes, today we will be diving into the topic of diesels in this day and age, and why diesel recently became almost socially unacceptable. For decades, I remember diesels as being those kings of fuel efficiency on the road. I remember the times of 1.9 TDI, almost.
Exactly, I remember growing up. I remember when petrol was about 98 pence and diesel was £1.10. But for some reason, diesel lasts longer on the long journeys. When you're on the motorways, perfect for the motorways. But when you're driving around London, yeah. And another thing as well, another hack I'll tell you guys about diesel vehicles. When you're going to the petrol station, when you own a diesel car, don't be buying a 10 or 20 pound. Always fill it up because the diesel burns slower when there's no air in the tank. Because trust me, if you don't believe me, next time if you have a diesel car, when you go to the petrol station, but if your full tank is £70, buy £35. If the £70 lasts you a week, the £35 will last you 2-3 days. Telling you. But if you buy the £70, fill it up, it will last you more than a week. I'm telling you. Try that because I've tried that so many times. So now when I go to the petrol station, I just fill it up. My full tank's about £120. It burns when I do it, but you know what? Fill it up.
Legendary. And then the switch to 2-liter TDI, which wasn't well received at the beginning. It had some problems, but then over the years it has been refined and it's used till today, obviously in X generation now. But still, with every generations they were getting cleaner and they were getting.
But you know what? Also, all these reviews only applies to people that buy brand new cars because when you get a car second hand, I've never owned a brand new car, but you know what? 2026, then again, it's not really one of my things I'm trying to do. It doesn't make sense. But it would be nice to own a brand new car. But if you don't know how the previous person treated the car, you could have the best car with the best engine. If the person previously did not look after it, you're gonna be in mechanics. So you can't blame the car company for how bad the car's gone or is. It's all about the previous owner. For me personally, I know they say German engines is the best, Japanese engine is the best and stuff, but for me, I've had a German car that I've been in a mechanic like crazy. I've had a French car, a Vauxhall Astra that I've been in a mechanic smoking, been in a mechanic like crazy. I've had what's a Land Rover? I reckon probably still a German. Crazy, you feel me? But I still love my Germans though. I ain't gonna lie, I still love my Germans.
Think more fuel efficient, to the point that you could get really ridiculous figures from those cars. I'm sitting in my Audi A5 2-liter TDI, and currently I'm cruising at the motorway at 70 miles per hour, and this car will deliver easily 60.
It's all about comfortability, and also if you're trying to buy a used car with a crazy mileage, German cars are the best with a crazy mileage. Trust me, German cars are the best. I had my Vauxhall Astra I had about 7 years ago. I think that car, the mileage was 85,000, but the engine was finished. That I had to scrap it. I sold it to the people that scrap it for I think £180 to scrap metal because I took it to the mechanic and the mechanic said he needed the head gasket is gone, so to take out the engine and open it up and seal it and everything. I bought the car for like 250. It wasn't making sense, so I just left it. I didn't even bother. So yeah. But anyway, back to the video.
mpg, which is 4.5 liter per 100 kilometers. But this car is on 19-inch wheels on 255 tires, and believe me, if this car would come with the smaller wheels, I believe the smallest ones are 17s with 225 tires, I bet this car would be doing easily 70 miles, so below 4 liters. Or, for example, I recently drove a Golf with the very same engine with a bit different tune, but it was on 15 or 16-inch wheels with 215 tires, I believe, and that car was doing on the same road 82 miles to the gallon. So as you can see, it's crazy that in the age when everyone wants to reduce the fuel consumption, suddenly diesels became almost socially unacceptable. And I guess there is a couple of things which happened which led to that. So over the years, the scientists discovered that actually diesels produced more of the harmful gases to humans, not to environment. So they are actually cleaner than petrol when it comes to environment, but they are emitting more.
I did not know that. Okay, so diesel's cleaner than petrol, but hold on, diesel's cleaner than petrol for the environment, but it's more dangerous for humans. Uh, 6, 7. I'm joking. I don't know how to weigh it, man. I don't know how to weigh it because I thought it was climate control, the reason why they was getting rid of them. But it's actually better for climate control, but it's bad for humans. So are they prioritizing, or so they're prioritizing humans? So they shouldn't really call it climate change or climate control, whatever they call it these days.
Substances which are harmful to us. So that's one of the things. The other thing was, I believe, Dieselgate. So a couple of years ago, everyone remembers Dieselgate, where Volkswagen was fined for cheating on the emission testing, and then it just snowballed into this massive claims, etc., because everyone was cheating. So that definitely accelerated that move from diesel to petrol and petrol hybrids. On the other side, the petrol engines over the last decade became so efficient as well, that's why they started taking over the market from diesels. A good 2-liter petrol engine can easily deliver 50 miles to the gallon. So they're getting really close to the diesels. So around 2015-16, manufacturers, to make diesels even cleaner, they introduced a new system called AdBlue. So what this system is basically you've got another tank in the car which is filled in with AdBlue, and AdBlue is injected right into your exhaust before catalytic converter, and it basically neutralizes the harmful bits in.
See, I didn't know. I was driving my car, and literally, I did not know the AdBlue was finished. So when I topped it up, what he's saying is actually true, because it saves the diesel burnout. It actually saves you burning out so much diesel. So I get a lot more to the gallon, because my full tank, I get how 520 miles on a full tank. With AdBlue, it stretches up to like 650. I'm not gonna tell you what car I have. You can do the maths.
The exhaust, so that made them even better, however not perfect enough. So all of those things meant that the government completely changed their stance. Only 5 years ago they were shouting, buy diesels, diesels are the best, and they were incentivizing company cars with diesel engines because they were the best. Then the stance changed completely. The incentives moved to hybrid cars with petrol engines, and obviously EVs as well. And diesels very quickly.
Hybrid. Oh, I'm gonna do a video for hybrid cars as well. I forgot. So this one is for diesel. The next one's gonna be petrol. Then I'm gonna do hybrid as well. So, oh yeah, and of course electric. I'll do electric last because it's my least favorite. Actually, hybrid is my least favorite, and I explain to you when I do my hybrid.
Became an evil. The sale of diesels started dropping to the point that this year I think only about 6% of vehicles sold were diesels. Obviously, when we're talking about vans, for example, a huge majority of those are still diesels. But let me rewind it a bit and remind you why diesels were so good to drive. Well, it's because they operate in lower rev range. They have a massive torque at the bottom, so you don't need to rev them high. You rev them low, you don't have to use that much fuel. So it's a win-win with diesel. Long gears, so for example, I'm now on indicated speed 72 miles per hour, and that's about 115 kilometers per hour, and the car sits at about 1420 RPMs, and that's the range where the diesels are so efficient, sitting well below 2000 RPMs.
Which is what I said. And for those that don't know what 2000 RPM, what that means is, you see on my one's on my right. So you know where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when the 1 is 1000, the 2 is 2000 and going further. So when he says 2000, that's hitting 2. So the revs, when you're revving a car and you're revving it up to 2, as long as your revs in a diesel car is just below 2, not under 1, just in between 1 and 2, and you're revving it, you're driving like 70 miles an hour, your burnout is steady. You're not burning that much diesel. Literally, you can even turn on your miles, your petrol miles left on the clock, and you will see it. You can end up doing on your sat nav. You can end up doing about 5 miles, and you just see 2 miles gone from your clock. Trust me, diesel is the best.
And they are comfortable there. They can go uphill and stay at very low revs as well, purely because there is so much torque right at the bottom of the rev range. So for driving them on motorway, on a long distance, that makes them really perfect. Much better than, for example, older petrol engines which had to sit much higher. But in the recent years, those engines have characteristics almost like diesels. New turbo petrol engines can easily sit at 1300 RPMs like a diesel with longer gears on a motorway, which then enables them to be almost as efficient as diesels. Yes, they aren't as fun as petrol engines to drive, I totally agree. And to be honest, in the whole career of me driving,
I don't know what you're talking about, but diesel, when you start a car, you want to know you started a car. You feel me? You want to hear your engine. None of this quiet business. I don't understand how people that have electric cars feel when they start the car. But you want to hear you want to hear that lion under the bonnet. None of that. It sound like a generator. You feel me? So I don't know what you're talking about, but me, I love a diesel engine sound. And plus, it's good. It's good for the environment. When someone's driving a diesel, you can hear the car coming. But you want it. You don't want your car that quiet, man, because people out here got hearing problems and stuff. You feel me? So I don't know.
cars, this is my first diesel ever. So why I bought it? Well, first of all, I wanted a very comfortable long distance cruiser. I work 50 miles away from home. Luckily, I need to go there only once a week now. I don't really do a lot of short driving apart from popping into the shops and gym, etc. So I'm not too worried about the consequences of doing short miles, because every week I do that longer drive which clears the DPF filter. But what are the drawbacks of a diesel engine? Well, one and main one I would say is the fact that they have to have DPF filters. So in 2008, all manufacturers had to introduce DPF filters to make them cleaner. What that meant is that they had additional, like catalytic converters, which would burn some of those harmful particles. Unfortunately, for them to work really well, they need to warm up to around 800 Celsius degrees. And unfortunately, you will not achieve that just driving a couple of miles in town. So these cars, you really need to drive them on a regular basis on a longer journeys. I think they say a minimum of about 10-15 kilometers. So the car has that chance to warm up and then to start burning all of that dirt which gathers there. If you don't do that for a couple of weeks, there is a big chance you're going to see an error light on your dash saying that there is a problem with your DPF filter. That can be cleared by giving your car a bit of...
He's right. He's right about that, because if you live around London, and because London everywhere is 20 miles an hour, for you to clean your DPF system, you need to do at least 50 to 70 miles an hour for about 20 minutes minimum to clear that DPF. In London, you're not clearing nothing. You're not clearing nothing. So I definitely agree with you. So yeah, so here's what he's saying is right. So depending on your lifestyle, so don't just get a diesel, don't get a diesel or petrol car, because you like a quiet engine. You feel me? If you're on the motorway all the time, get a diesel. If you live around London, you can get a petrol. But you know what? We're not going to talk much about petrol today. But for me, I hear what he's saying. He's right.
Bins, taking it for a longer journey. However, it's a problem. I know that many people bought diesel cars not knowing about that, and suddenly they found themselves in a situation where they almost can't use their car because it would get clogged, because they never leave town. They always do a couple of miles here and there, and they never go for that long journey when all of that which gathered in that filter can actually burn off and escape through the exhaust. But why I personally never bought a diesel was, first of all, because of the smell. I don't really like smell of diesel. I don't think anyone likes smell of diesel.
Now, just to correct what he's saying now. So diesel drivers, so anyone that owns a diesel car, so when you're stationary in traffic and you can smell diesel, it simply means that your air filter is gone, it's dirty. You need to change it. Because when you haven't changed your air filter in a while, the smell from your engine starts coming into your air vent, through your air vent in the car. So if you change your air filter, it's easy to change most cars. You don't even need to go to the mechanic. You know what? I'll give you my trick. I don't even change my thing like that. You know, I get my air filter, take it out. The days that I've got like 2, 3 days off work or whatever, take it out, clean it, use a little brush, clean it out. I'm talking about dishwasher, like wash it out, clean it. As long as you ain't got no holes in it, you get rid of all that smell from the thing, let it dry, put it back in. Because all it is the material. It can be cleaned. It literally can be cleaned. You see a lot of leaves on there and everything, and that weakens the material. But if you clean it, because you ain't got time to buy a new one, just clean it and put it back. There's on YouTube you can watch um videos on how to take out your air filter. But if you want to know how to take out your air filter, you can drop a comment below and just name of your vehicle, and I can do a reaction on advise you on how you can change your air filter so you can stop smelling that diesel, especially when you got kids in the car and stuff, because the fumes are not that great. Feel me? Gives you headache and stuff.
Don't smell nice. In contrast, I do actually like smell of petrol. I don't know why, I do. The other thing is the sound. Diesels just don't sound very exciting, especially the older diesels, 1.9. They sound a bit like a tractors. So I never really liked that. And the third thing was the engine characteristics. They are perfect when they are at the low revs, and they are not really efficient, and they are quite loud when they are in a higher revs. So really you want to pair diesel with an automatic gearbox and just let it do what they
Think it's all preference. It's all preference. Some people like to hear the engine, some people don't. For me, I like to hear my engine. But I hear what he's saying, because when I was younger I had a 1 series, a diesel. I think it was 2006. It was pretty loud, but it was only loud because my friend had a petrol. I didn't notice how loud it was till I was next to my friend's car, but it done its job. And that was a manual as well. I don't think I'll ever drive a manual again, but that was a manual.
want, and let your gearbox keep your engine at this low revs all the time, and that's when you really can't hear the engine and when the engine is really efficient. So all of that meant that I always choose a petrol engine, and that's because I'm a bit of a petrol head and I like to drive my cars for pleasure, and really driving a diesel for pleasure, it's not something I would ever do. This is a people carrier to me, A to B car in a very comfortable way, and that's why I'm in this car. The other big advantage of a diesel is that they can last forever. So good diesel, if you look after it, if you service it, it can easily do 200,000 miles, so about over 300,000 kilometers without any major repairs. Some of them can last 500 or even longer without any major work done to them. And if you look after them, I know these engines can clock even higher. So
That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to your engine, you're not out here thinking about, oh yeah, this I had this car and it was bad. Don't blame the manufacturer. Remember, blame the previous owner. Because not everyone services their cars every year. Not everyone will change change the engine oil. Some people have a leak and want to start putting this blocker, like stop leak and coolant stop leak and this, that, all these things inside the engine to have a cheaper option to fix something. You feel me? So most of the time, trust me, especially when it comes to this German cars, it's the previous owner. You could end up getting, and so if you're trying to buy a big car, do not buy it. Don't do a private sale. Always get it from a company because anything that happened to it, you can always go back. You wanna go and save a little change and get it. You know, don't make sense.
As you can see, that's a huge advantage for someone who does a lot of miles. So thanks to all of that efficiency of diesel, what's beautiful about them is that when you fill up your tank with diesel, you can actually drive and drive and drive and drive. This car with the full tank of fuel, which is only 54 liters, it's not a big tank, it can cover about 700 miles if you're careful. That's well over 1,100 kilometers. It's so long that it's just crazy. So I still think that diesels are good choice, but not for everyone. As I mentioned, if you drive on short distances, you are probably the best to buy EV, because that's when you get the full efficiency of the electric engine, you don't emit anything, and you're clean, you're quiet.
Right, I'm gonna end that video there. So what he's saying about a diesel, the advantages of having a diesel car is if you fill up the tank, you can drive forever. The engine lasts forever if you look after it. The comfortability, it's all about preference, how you like, whether you like the sound or not. And when you're getting a diesel car, well, I don't think anyone buys a manual car anymore, but you know, so this is my explanation for diesel cars. If you tune in tomorrow, I'll be explaining petrol cars to you tomorrow. It's your boy, A Dog TV, another day of Gossip TV. I'm out. Peace and love.